Make sure you can see and hear me. So let me test it out on this other phone here before I get started. That's why I'm squinting. Do me some good if I put them on, huh? Live. Okay, live from the garden. All right, give me a second. Just want to make sure that you can see me before I start all this talking and stuff. All right, so looks like you can see and hear me. All right, cool, 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 cool. How's everybody doing today? I'm just gonna be doing some stuff in the garden, just chit chatting, talking about whatever just pops in my head. Ginger's over there. Um, I may change this dog's name to Jeremiah. I keep wanting to call him Jeremiah. Noah is so you guys let me know, should it be Noah or Jeremiah? Just for some reason I just keep randomly calling him Jeremiah. I used to have a dog a long time ago named Jeremiah that was a Brindle pit bull, and he reminds me so much of that Brindle pit bull. He looked like his head was like bigger than mine. He was a huge dog. But yeah, I keep randomly just wanting to call him Jeremiah, so I'm gonna try to stick with Noah, but let me know if you think I should change it. But anyway, trying to get some stuff in the ground um before the rain hits. So I'm gonna kind of be bouncing back and forth in the chat. I know no one's probably gonna show up, but you know it is what it is. What I'm doing right now is I am planting tomatoes right now, and I want to show you guys a really neat trick to planting tomatoes. And like a lot of people ask me how my tomatoes grow so well when other people's tomatoes aren't producing, my tomatoes are. When their tomatoes have stopped producing, my tomatoes are still going. The trick is, okay, so you see these tomato plants. Let me show you. Let me get a good one. All right, so you see this tomato plant, right? What you want to do is you want to pull all these leaves off. I know most people who plant tomatoes just take it at this little root ball here, drop it in the ground, and plant it here. No, 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 no. What you want to do is take most of the leaves off, and you want to plant it to maybe like here. The reason that you want to do that is because if you've ever noticed anything about tomato plants, this is not my good phone, so you probably won't be able to see it in this video. But if you can see along the stems of this tomato plants, there are little bitty hairs. And whenever these hairs touch water, touch soil, they spit out these roots called advantageous roots. So you get a really, really strong system. So if you can see how many hairs are on this tomato plant, every single one of these hairs will turn into roots. So that's why you want to bury it. I know, and I used to do this when I first started, is I would just stop right here and I would just grow my tomato plants from here on up. But bury them deep, bury them very, bury them very, very deep. Like I said, these roots, these hairs are going to turn into roots. So don't just bury your tomato plants here. Take the leaves off, leave about maybe 2 leaves here just for photosynthesis, and bury it like up to here. Majority of the stem in the ground. Like I said, it will not cause you any other plants that you do this with besides the right kind of plants. You're going to have your stem to rot because you buried it so deep. But with tomato plants, that makes them stronger because these hairs turn into advantageous roots. And you get a really, really strong, strong, strong tomato plant. So, about to put my first one in the ground. And if you want to, you can add different things in the hole. What I usually like to put in my planting hole is, of course, cow manure, maybe some chicken manure, cottonseed meal. I have not been able to find it. Cottonseed meal for nitrogen, and Epsom salt. So what I'm gonna do this year is, since this is new ground and it's supposed to be really, really fertile, like in the city, the reason that I had to fertilize them so heavily in the city is because you had years and years and years of pesticides and different types of things growing there and different kind of things happening there. But Since this land hasn't been touched, I want to see how fertile this ground is. So I'm just gonna side dress it with some cow manure and side dress it with some Epsom salt. What Epsom salt does, Epsom salt is just pure magnesium sulfate. Pure magnesium sulfate. That's what Epsom salt is. So I don't know if you hear those chickens. You'll probably see my dad actually walk. He might walk down here later. I don't know. He might be kind of tired. But what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? What was I saying? Oh, Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, so it feeds the plants. And I know when you go into these different farm stores, and if you order Epsom salt online, if you put Epsom salt for plants, you're gonna pay about $10 or $15 for it. But it can be just a regular $5 bag at Walmart. It's still the same thing. They just put plants on it and up the price. But let me get these tomatoes in the ground here, just to show you how deep I bury it. Can you see me? Yeah, you can see me. Okay. So I already dug this hole. Where's my trowel? Okay, I'm not prepared. Ugh. So I already dug the hole, but I backfilled it as well. And the ground does look really fertile. Like I said, it hasn't been tainted with anything. So that's a good thing. But I don't know what kind of nutrients are in the ground. So that's why I'm going to side dress. And as you can see how deep I'm burying this tomato plant, I can actually go deeper with it. Yeah, so just enough room. But you want to bury it, but don't let those leaves touch the dirt. The reason that you don't want to let the leaves touch the dirt is because it can actually cause pathogens to get on your plant. Like I said, this land has not been touched ever. Well, yeah, this portion ever has not been touched. So it should be really, really fertile soil. Nothing really tainted. But yet and still it could be like pathogens in the ground. So the reason that you don't want your leaves to touch the ground too much is because those pathogens that are in the ground, when you water your tomato plant, they can splash up and cause, blight, different things on your tomato plants. Now, a secret weapon, I don't know how big of a secret it is, but I never plant any of my tomato plants without marigolds. Marigolds. What marigolds do, marigolds actually ward off different types of pests from your plants, just a bunch of flying pests, but also the French marigold, it has dual purposes to where you plant marigolds near your tomato plants or any other plants that you have. And if you have nematodes in the ground that are going to eat your stems, that are going to eat your roots, marigolds release this toxin, this chemical in their roots that doesn't harm your actual plants, but it is toxic to nematodes in the soil. So that's two reasons there to plant marigolds with. I put marigolds with everything that I plant in my garden, but I try to keep everything pretty. No, I don't. I was gonna say I try to keep everything pretty simple, but I don't. I sometimes complicate things. But this year, it's the first time working this land, so it's a lot more work than what I'm used to doing in my garden. And because I am here, um there was a tomato plant that I pulled out and I can't find it. I hope I didn't step on it. But because I'm mostly here doing majority of it by myself, even though my husband's like, wait till I come down and we'll do this and we'll do that. But again, when my husband comes down, I like for him to actually rest when he comes down, not do anything, do any work. But that's one thing that we do together is the whole gardening thing that does bring us together. I don't know, my dad may come outside looking weird. So let me change the direction of this. All right, I hope you guys can still, let's do this here. So I hope you guys can still see me. Okay. I can't even see myself, really. Okay. probably better. All right. All right. Supposed to rain today. Oh, another thing that I wanted to talk about was chickens. I found this post, and I probably put it on my community tab later. Found this post where this person was saying, I am going to raise chicken because it's the price of eggs is cheaper to raise chickens than just grow my own eggs. And it was the little Leonardo DiCaprio, I think it was from the movie Wolf of Wall Street, that little laughing meme there. So I think I posted on my page. One thing I did want to talk about is I have got some questions about chicken keeping. I am extremely new to chicken keeping. Extremely new. This is my first year. Never done it before. This is my first year keeping raising chickens from, point A to point Z. So there's a lot that I'm learning myself, but in what I'm learning, I do want to try to share with other people. I would say think twice before deciding that you're going to keep chickens to try to save money on eggs. Because in the beginning, make sure you guys can still see me. Because in the beginning, the startup cost for keeping chickens, just like the startup cost for having a garden, it's a lot. It's a lot. So you're going to actually end up spending a lot of money in the beginning. Um, but it will pay off in the long run because you can have chickens and they may not lay for 6 to 8 months, after you get them. So that's a lot of, like I talked about before, the panic buying that we're seeing, where people are going and buying up all the chickens and selling them on Facebook, and then they're buying up all the chickens and realize, hey, I need a coop. Hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. And it's more money than what most people wanted to fork out. I was talking to someone, they actually said you need to have everything set up before you even get chickens, and then you need more. Then you need even more things. So everything that you think you're gonna need, once you start actually keeping them, you're like, oh yeah, I need to get this. Oh yeah, this right here. Oh yeah, this right here. Because keeping chickens, I didn't think that the startup cost will be what it is. And I'm not complaining, I just thank God that He blessed us to be able to, be able to do it. But yeah, um a lot of people don't realize how much it's going to be, and there are so many people that are actually returning chickens because they just cannot afford it. They cannot afford the startup cost of chickens. And even though you're paying all this money for feed and coop and run and security, and if you like me have to get an extra dog, which I was gonna get an extra dog anyway, but that security, I gotta put some cameras and security lights out here, motion detector lights out here, so if predators do come between Ginger and the motion detectors, they will be, and the alarms, they will be, scared off or whatever. Got to get hardware cloth and one roll of 100 feet. Well, I don't know if it's 100 feet or 50 feet of hardware cloth is like, I want to say $85, $90. Yeah. So you're looking at about $200 just in hardware cloth right there. So, yeah, that's why I want a lot of people to really think about it, because now that I am in it, I'm actually seeing it. I'm actually seeing people, bring chicks, sell chicks online because they just like, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. I didn't know it was gonna be like this. And I actually talked about this in another video as well. Just because it keeps getting worse, and worse and worse and worse and worse. It's so bad that the little mom and pop stores that always have chicks that actually said they were going to not sell chicks this year because they always end up, adding more chicks than they need to because they just can't sell them all. They can't even keep them in stock. And they hatch their own and they can't even keep them in stock. They will bring out like, they will hatch out 100 chicks, they started I think like 20 something chicks gone in one day. All right, we'll go up to 50 gone in one day. Okay, let's go to maybe 75, 100 gone in one day. So now they're hatching 150, 200 chicks a day, and this is little mom and pop stores that supposedly no one knows about, and they're gone in one day. And it's sad because I see all these posts online and they're like, I need to get rid of my chickens ASAP. Bought these chickens from Tractor Supply, need to get rid of them ASAP. And I'm like, what in the world? Why? Like, I didn't know it was going to be as in depth as it is now that I'm in it. But I at least did enough research to know that it was going to be hard work. I at least did enough research to know that it was going to take a lot of money. It was going to take a lot of time, but I still didn't realize how much until I actually got in it. And I don't know if you guys can still hear and see me, but let me do a quick check. Let me do a quick check. Let me do a quick check. All right. Expenses automatically. Maximize your tax savings this year. They got commercials on this one? I didn't know I monetized this video, but okay. That's good to know. Turn it down so you guys won't hear it. This one I didn't know I monetized this video, but okay. That's good to know. All right, so I can see I am. You guys can still hear me. So, last night I ordered a bunch of seeds. Last night, and really want to extend out this garden. Really want to extend out this garden. There's so much that I want to do. But I'm also trying to be wise as well because, with my health and me right now doing the garden pretty much by myself, I don't want to go too big, but it's already too late. I've already gone too big. I've already gone too big. I know that I have. I know that I have. Because this row here of 6 tomato plants, I think is 6, 12, okay, 15. Oh, hold on. Like I hear something up there. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is what, 18? Yeah. This is like 18 tomato plants, and I still have 12 more. So gonna end up with like 30 something tomato plants. And I still have not been able to find my Sun Sugar Sun Gold tomatoes. Oh man, my husband loves those tomatoes. They're like these orange tomatoes, and they literally taste like candy. They are so good. They don't even taste like tomatoes. So I have not been able to find those this year, but I know I'm gonna have at least 6 of those. So I'll probably end up with what, maybe 36? Maybe 36 tomato plants, which, like I said, I didn't want to go too large, but it's already too late for that. So might as well just make the best of it, which I knew I was going to do that. I always say, I'm not going to plant too much. I'm not going to plant too much. And then what do? I always end up overplanting. But it works out because, you know, if things die or have problems producing, it's better to plant too many than too few, is what I say. And then I plan on doing a lot of canning this year with my salsa, my pickles, and things like that. Gonna sell some salsa because my salsa has been a really big hit around these parts. So I'm actually going to sell some salsa. Well, you know what? No, I'm not. Wink, wink. But also gonna give some salsa away. Have to go and get this like license from the county to be able to sell my vegetables at a little vegetable stand around here. So I've never sold vegetables before. I've always just given them away. And 9 times out of 10, that's what I'm gonna end up doing again, is just giving vegetables away to people. That's more than likely what I'm gonna end up doing. But it will be nice to have I have a gardening fund, but it will be nice if my garden, the things that I produce in my garden, could pay for my garden, and I can use my gardening fund for something else. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I don't like charging people for stuff. I know that seems weird, and that's not really a business mindset, but I just don't like charging people for stuff. I'd rather just give stuff away, because there's people out there that, especially in this economy, that can use fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, you know. So I got one more Rutger tomato plant. Says, did y'all just see that? That is an eastern swallowtail. I ordered some dill seeds last night so that I can plant some dill for the eastern swallowtail. Let me get back closer to my phone after I get this in the ground. Give me just a second. All right, my last marigold. I got some marigold seeds that I planted, so hopefully, usually doesn't take them too long to come up. So hopefully they'll come up really soon. Hopefully we'll have them come up pretty soon. I'm actually stepping on plants. Forgot I put seeds out here. Oh, and I got a busload of peppers to plant too. I just realized I got peppers that I need to plant as well. So, and I found more tomato plants. Hold on, I'm gonna show you guys what I just came over here, and I completely forgot what all I had purchased. Give me just a second. Do it for me. Sorry, song stuck in my head. Yeah, I went to my dad's church today. I felt funny because I don't go to my church a lot, especially being down here, but I don't like to go to other churches either. If I'm not going to my church, I don't want to go to any church. Point blank. But you know, my dad asked me to go, and I went, and I actually enjoyed it for the most part. I actually enjoyed it. But guys, let me show you what I literally forgot that I bought. Don't ask me how I forgot this. But yeah, I'm like, let me get these tomatoes in the ground. But I still got a whole host plus 2 more two Roma tomato trays over there of plants that I didn't even realize that I had bought. As you can see, Jeremiah, I keep calling it out Jeremiah. What is his name? Noah. Noah has run through these and had a ball and broken things up, but I have some hot banana peppers, sweet banana peppers, eggplant, some chocolate beauty bell peppers. They're sweet, more hot, and some cayenne peppers. And this is what, probably sweet million. Yeah, these are some sweet million tomato plants. So yeah, I'm like, let me hurry and get these little few tomatoes in the ground, not realizing I got all this other stuff to plant. So now I have to sit here and strategize where I'm gonna put everything. So as I'm thinking and pondering on that, let me check out the chat. I don't think anybody's in here. I'm pretty much just talking to myself, but hey, maybe you're catching the replay. So oh, excuse me. Yeah, it is nice outside. Oh, excuse me. It is nice outside. So let's see. I think I'm gonna do a row of. I want to kind of keep. I did not. I completely forgot that I had all those. On it. That I had all those plants there. So, oh man, that completely threw everything off. I can put a row of tomatoes right there because I don't want them too close because I'm gonna go in between each tomato plant and put basil in between each tomato plant. So I don't want to have more than 6 to a row. So where am I gonna put my peppers? I guess I can put my peppers all the way at the end over there because the deer are less likely. Yeah, the tomatoes need to be more over on this side. And the peppers need to be closer to the woods, the hot peppers, because the deer are going to be less likely to eat those hot peppers than they are. Yeah. So, all right, I figured it out. So let's get back to it. How long have I been on here? Okay, not long at all. But just gonna take a little break here. Run and get me some water. You guys are gonna be able to see me, but you won't be able to hear me. I mean, you guys will be able to hear me, but you won't be able to see me because I'm gonna run and get me some water. I know I'm awkward when it comes to being live. I'm trying to get more comfortable with being live, but I'm not a social person. I'm really not. That's why I like the pre-recorded videos because just small talk and just thinking of things on my mind, just I'm weird like that. Let me run and get me some water. I'll be right back. Like I said, you'll be able to hear me, but you just won't be able to see me. So I have some good news here about Ginger. Hold on a second. Hi, Casper. Hey, baby. All right. So we made progress, a lot of progress, a heck of a lot of progress when it comes to Ginger. So as you guys know, Ginger, my German Shepherd, if you don't know, the biggest problem that we have had with Ginger has been the lack of socialization and her reactivity. Reactivity is terrible. Sorry, I took my glasses off for a minute, so squinting to kind of see. Um, my glasses irritate me behind my ears. So, and then when I put on my other pair of glasses, they actually. Okay, make sure you can still hear me. When I put my other pair of glasses on, they actually are too big because I've lost so much weight. My face has gotten smaller. So, and these right here, they actually just irritate me. But anyway, all right. Okay, good. Okay, we're good here. Okay, so the biggest issue that I had with Ginger was the whole reactivity thing. I mean, whenever I would go to a store, I'm always apologizing to people like, I'm sorry, she's a rescue, she's in training, because she would like jump on the window whenever someone would, walk past or whatever. If she even saw another person, before they even got close to the car, she would just have a fit. So the other day I went to Lowe's. And when I went to Lowe's, I'm like, okay, Ginger, stay. I'll be back. Whole routine, little spiel that I do with her. And she's kind of looking at me, and I'm not paying any attention to where I parked. I parked right next to the buggy return thing that they have in the parking lots or whatever. So I parked right next to that, and I look up, and it's this lady that's returning her little Lowe's cart in the little return thing, and Ginger's just looking at her. Ginger's not barking. Ginger's not reacting. She's not doing anything. She's just being amazing. So I went to Harbor Freight, and same thing. Ginger, someone parked really close to me, walked in the store. She's still alert. She's still looking. She's a German Shepherd. She's going to do that. Um, but no reactivity. Went to my brother's house, and I took her out to the bathroom. One of my brother's friends, she actually walked up to Ginger, and she's worked with Ginger before, and Ginger was extremely reactive, but she's like, you're doing such a good job with her, because Ginger was not, she didn't bark, she didn't do anything. So I'm really happy with Ginger. I want to do a video on you know, adopted dogs and returning them, because each time the dog gets with a family and then is returned back, that's another setback for that dog. That's traumatizing for that dog. Like, man. And we still have the whole thing with a little separation anxiety, but what I do is I put her in her crate when I leave, or I leave her outside. Because my house is brand spanking new. Like, not new to me, but a new creation. And I don't want to tear my house up, you know. I see all these horror stories with dogs with separation anxiety. They chew this, they chew that, and I don't want to go through that with Ginger. I don't want to go through that, because that will be something that my husband be like, she has to go. So a lot of people have said things about the methods that I've used to train Ginger and get her to where I need her to be, but she's not their dog. She's my dog. And I have to look out for her. I have to look out for her husband. I have to look out for myself, and anybody else, because my dad has two of his grandchildren that live with him, and Ginger's big, and I don't know how to. God, I can't see. I don't know how to um like teach Ginger her strength, to teach her how to be more gentle, because she is a beast. She is a beast. Oh, that dog's so big. She's a beast. All right, I'm about to get these tomatoes in the ground. So let me make sure you can. Teach her how to be more gentle. Okay, so you can still hear me. Yeah, Ginger is a beast. She's like, and it's all in fun. She's a fun loving dog. I think I'm gonna plant these Roma tomatoes a little closer together. She's a real fun loving type dog, but she just doesn't know her own strength. She doesn't know, that she can knock me over, and she has knocked me over before. She has knocked me over before. But let me get back to it. That break was long enough. Gotta get some basil. And that's one thing that I have not been able to find. Surprisingly, this year I have not been able to find basil. Have not been able to find basil. And that's really weird because um usually around this time of year they have basil out. But I have not been able to find basil as of yet. So one of these tomato plants, I just threw out a bunch. I think it's that right there. I just threw out a bunch of basil seeds around it, see what comes up. If things come up, then I'll start, transplanting them somewhere else. Um, I did do a video on companion planting. I do not plant tomatoes without basil. The only reason that you're not seeing me plant basil with it right now is because I haven't been able to find basil. And for some reason, I think my basil seeds were old. I think that was the issue, that my basil seeds were old and they did not germinate. So I did try to start some seeds indoors, but I just believe that my seeds were too old and that's why they didn't germinate. So, but I'm going to try to get all this stuff in the ground. I just have to think, because I don't know where in the world I'm going to put my eggplant. What I'm thinking is maybe along the back row of each tomato row, put an eggplant back there. Because growing an eggplant I'm going to give my dad 3 of them. So I only need to plant 3. Then I'm going to take the rest of them up to my dad's house because eggplant are they're huge. They're like bushes. Those plants get really, really big. And I'm the only one who eats eggplant in my family. So they always end up going to waste every year because I have not found a way to preserve eggplant in a way that is tasty because I tried freezing it. Then when I went back, that's a little too close. A little too close. I need to come about right here. Yeah. I did freeze it, but then when I went back to cook it, it was not good at all. So anybody out there have any tips on preserving eggplant? I'm your girl, let me know. I think these were some basil seeds that I planted. Oopsie. Well, we'll see. Could have been some weeds, but I don't want to be too close to my cucumbers because they're gonna grow like crazy. But I want to have enough room to go in between my plants to get rid of the weeds because I can already tell it's gonna be a lot of weeds in this area that I'm gonna have to fight with. A lot of weeds. But this is one of the most relaxing things. And people always say to me, why don't you put on gloves and your hands getting dirty? Yeah, and that's why I don't have long nails. I don't like fake nails. I don't like anything fake on my body. Except for my jewelry, maybe. But I don't like fake nails, fake body parts, things that's supposed to grow on my body. I'll put it that way. But I don't like fake nails and things like that. But even my real nails, I keep them cut short around gardening season because my nails can grow really, really long. With all the vitamins that I take, my nails grow really fast. And so I have to keep them cut to keep they're a little bit too long now. So I will be cutting them tonight. We'll be cutting them tonight. And the reason I'm planting these a little bit closer is because Roma tomatoes are what you call determinate tomatoes. And I should have put them on the very end. Determinate tomatoes, what they are is you have 2 types of tomatoes. You have determinate, well, 2 main types of tomatoes, I should say, determinate and indeterminate. So what the determinate tomatoes are, those tomatoes that they get ripe all at one time. Like you just get a explosion of tomatoes all at one time. Those are your Roma type. Then you have indeterminate tomatoes, which I'm pretty sure you can figure out is that opposite, is it produces for the entire season. It just keeps going and going and going. It's one of those things, one of those types where the more you pick, the more it's going to produce, at least, weather permitting. So that's why I'm planting the Roma tomatoes a lot closer together, because the Roma tomato plants don't get as big and they all pretty much produce all at one time. And so you don't need as much space. But the indeterminate tomatoes kind of need a lot more space between those because they just keep growing and growing and growing. But once these Roma tomato plants hit a certain size and start producing, you pick those and it's pretty much done for the season. So that's why I said I should have planted the Romas on the end because I can put something else there. But I think it's good that I am planting them closer to the cucumbers because cucumbers are going to run a lot longer. So if the cucumbers need more space, these will be done producing, and the cucumbers will have more space to move around. But this is what I do in the garden. I kind of just talk to myself, and I'm kind of talking to y'all. And as you can see, this is why we do garden plans. This is why we draw our gardens out. And I did that, but plans change. Like I said, I went to that mom and pop store and they had, the trays of plants for $3.50, and they don't charge taxes or anything. So I just bought more plants than I actually needed to. Let me check here. All right, we're still good. I actually bought more plants than I needed to. So that kind of threw off my plan. That threw off my plan as well. I'm going to have to go and get more tomato steaks. There are several ways that you can stake your tomato. You'll see people doing it different ways. A lot of people do the cages. I personally prefer not to do the cages because the cages are so expensive. And usually you end up just wasting money on the tomato cages. I'm all about putting money where it belongs. If there's a way that I can take money that I could be that I'm spending on this and find something cheaper and could be putting it over here instead, then I'll do that. It's not a question of can you afford it or can you spend money on it. The question is, should you spend money on it, and is there something better that you can put that money towards? That's how I think about it when it comes to gardening. My husband, he's the opposite. He's like, well, just if you need it, just get it. And I'm like, no, let me see, if there's a more economical way to do it, and then I can take that money and put it towards something else. And I know that irks him. It does, but I also think he secretly likes me saving money. But yeah, he's just one of those people that really believes, if you got it and you can afford it, blah blah blah. Well, he's frugal when it comes to himself, but when it comes to things like gardening, things for the house, things like that, he's like, just it's something that we're gonna benefit from. So don't try to cut corners, which I don't. I don't cut corners, but I do find, more economical ways to do things. But I said all that to say, a lot of people like the tomato cages. They look nice, they look good, and I used to use them. But one thing I always learned about tomato cages is I always had to go back and buy like some other type of support, like some stakes or something like that, because my plants, especially with me planting them this way, they always outgrew the tomato cages. They always, it never failed. They always outgrew the tomato cages. So I was basically wasting money. It, like I said, it was very aesthetically pleasing, but didn't do me any good if I was having to buy something to support the supports. So I just started using these little stakes that you see here. And I have to get a lot more of them as well, because I was not planning on having so many tomato plants. Was not planning on having so many tomato plants at all. Not even close to this many. I was planning on having maybe 12. And I'm gonna end up, by the time it's all said and done, with like, what did I say, 33, which I'm gonna have to stop that because it's gonna have to be an even number. Well, 18, 24. So maybe about 30. Yeah, it's gonna end up being like 30. End up about 30. About 32. Yeah, 32. See, this is an area that didn't till too well. So I'm gonna have to come with my cultivator when I'm off again, because I'm not gonna do it today. I just don't have the time, and kind of soften some of this stuff up around here. Get my cultivator and do that. But yeah, I don't know why that area didn't till as well. Just in that little one spot. But yeah, if you don't stake your tomato plants, you can grow them without staking them. Not a problem. I know a lot of, especially old school gardeners and farmers, a lot of them don't stake them. They just let them grow on the ground. And that's cool. That's fine. That is a possibility. But the thing about letting them grow on the ground like that is what I talked about earlier, is there are all kinds of diseases and pathogens on the ground that can get into your plants. That was cool back in the day, but there's so much stuff out there nowadays. I just try to keep my tomato plants off the ground. Plus, it gets so hot that a lot of the tomato fruit will actually end up burning when you grow them on the ground like that. So you really want to stake them. And sometimes they will get so heavy that the plant will actually break, especially if there's a storm that comes through. And April and May are pretty stormy for us here in Georgia. So if there's a storm that comes through, it can actually like break your tomato plant. So that's another reason why you want to have that extra support for your tomato plants. Yeah, this is gonna have to be cultivated. I don't know why this little one spot here is just full of live. And I'm just being lazy because I could get a hoe and just clear it all out right now. But I don't want to. I don't feel like it. So I'll do that Wednesday. Let me pull you guys a little closer to me. I don't know if you can still see me. Can you still see me? Yeah, you can still see me. So I usually sit out here, do this while I pray, listen to my praise and worship music. So it's really hard for me to just try to talk while I'm doing this, because only time I talk while I'm doing this is when I'm talking to the Lord, just trying to do better about going live and just showing people, what it takes to start a garden pretty much from nothing. From nothing. And there are easier ways to do it. I always recommend raised bed gardens. I do have some raised beds. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with my other raised beds. Probably gonna do more root vegetables. I do prefer to do root vegetables in raised beds, like my carrots and stuff like that. I do have 50 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes that I'm gonna be planting, and that is going to go into the containers that I have. Those two tomatoes are way too close together. I'm gonna have to go back and redo those. So yeah, it's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of work, but I guarantee you it's worth it in the long run. It's worth it, because once my stuff starts producing, like I said, I'm still eating stuff. I just finished up my last peas from 2 years ago. Now I'm working on my peas from last year. So I'm still eating on stuff from, a year ago. So it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. The blood, sweat, yep, you're gonna bleed. You're gonna bleed. The blood, sweat, and tears that you put into your garden, growing your own food, it's one of the most rewarding things that I do with my hands. May not have a paycheck coming every 2 weeks, but it feels good to not have to go to a store if I don't want to. Feels good just to be able to step outside, and if I want a cucumber, just get a cucumber. If I want a tomato, just get a tomato. If I want some peppers, just get some peppers. But with me and the way that I eat, my gardening ends up being for other people. When I was full blown vegan, yes, my garden was mostly for me. But because my diet focuses more on protein than anything else, majority of the stuff that I growing it for others, mainly my husband, mainly him. He loves, I've talked about it the last time, to do this cucumber salad thing. It's cucumbers, bell peppers, onions, and tomatoes. A little bit of lemon pepper and some apple cider vinegar. So imagine how if he takes a big bowl of that, like a Cool Whip size bowl of that to work every single day. And so that means I'm going through at least one cucumber, one full tomato, sometimes depending on the size of it too, one full bell pepper, at least, not much onions. But imagine not having to going through one cucumber a day for a whole year. Let's say that cucumber is a little bit under $1. I think they're like 60 something cents. They were 60 something cents. I don't know what they cost now. So you're looking at over $300 a year that I'm saving on just the cucumbers. Not to calculate what I'm saving on the tomatoes and the bell peppers. So yeah, it's a lot of work right now. I'm sweating. A lot of work right now. But in the long run, it ends up being worth it with the savings that we get. Because that's just one plant that we save like $300 a year on. That's just one plant, just the cucumbers. Imagine the bell peppers, the tomatoes, the squash, the lettuce, the kale. Imagine how much we save on all of that in a year's time. And how much healthier it is. And like I said in the last video, when you're eating healthier, not only just eating healthier, because a lot of these foods in the stores are sprayed with pesticides and they're cancerogens and all this kind of stuff, and it's not as healthy as it is. Even the ones that mark organic. I'm gonna do a deep dive on that for you guys. It doesn't take much for a person to mark something organic. You really don't have to prove too much to say that it is organic. But anyway, oh, excuse me, got a little dizzy there. Hold on, y'all. This heat. I'm gonna have to sit down after I do this little last plant right here because getting a little dizzy. Only because I haven't really eaten much today. I don't eat before I go to church because I never know what my stomach is going to do. So I'm having a little moment where I'm just a little shaky, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it. So give me just a second to get this in the ground. And then I'm gonna go make me a shake. If I can turn my camera, I gotta figure out how to turn the camera off because I'm not on StreamYard. I'm actually on YouTube Live. I feel like StreamYard is pointless unless I'm gonna have a panel. So yeah, let me Get over here. And this happens sometimes, even without having surgery. If you're not eating the way that you should be eating, your body is going to really start to, and you're out in the heat like this, your body's going to start talking to you. And that's the key, is when it starts talking, you got to listen. Because what I would usually do is when I would feel like this, kind of dizzy, body's like, okay, girl, chill, 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 red alert, red alert, red alert. I would just keep going and going and going and going because I'm like, I'm not going to stop. I got to get this done. I got to get that done. And excuse me, there has been times that I have actually passed out, blacked out, where everything, I didn't fall, but everything just turned black. Couldn't see anything, couldn't make anything out. Um, yeah. So what I do is now when I feel that way, I know if I don't stop and drink, thank you, Kai, drink me some water, get me some nutrients in me, get me some vitamins in me, then, it's not going to really end well. Well, this one is almost an hour long, so I'm going to end this one here. Um, and I may come back after I get something in me, get my strength back up, and continue just chit chatting with you guys in the garden. But yeah, that's one thing, especially I want to tell a lot of people who are even considering having this surgery, is you really, really have to listen to your body. When your body starts feeling like you're fading, sit down, get you some nutrients in you. Like I haven't had anything to eat yet. I haven't taken my vitamins or anything yet, and this is usually common for a Sunday for me because I just don't I don't eat before I go to church because um I don't ever know what my stomach's gonna do. So I don't want to get stuck at church like that wouldn't be good. All right, guys. So I'm gonna end this one here, and I may come back later when I get other stuff in the ground. But I probably just use that my time to just kind of chill. But thank you so much, guys, for watching. And as usual, toodaloo. Bye bye.